Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Publicly Buzzed Live on a special Wednesday night because we have a special guest tonight. Joining us tonight from the Defense Diaries Podcast and DefenseDiaries.com, none other than Bob Motta, ladies and gentlemen, criminal defense attorney, and we are fucking stoked to have this dude. Welcome, Bob, and Dan, what's going on, guys?
What's up, boys?
Yo, yo.
Yeah,
Ready to get the show on the road.
I'm fucking stoked. Yeah, we had a little bit of a time issue, but
I mean,
I forgot, dude. This is I've done this actually before. We're on the East Coast and he's in Central Time, but yeah, we got this son of a bitch going.
yeah, I mean, I was trying to make sure it wasn't my fuck up because I was like, oh man, I'm like, I hope because I was panicking because I couldn't figure out how to get on through Discord. So
yeah, actually, Discord was actually the biggest issue.
Yeah, for me because I'm old, and relatively tech incompetent. So.
Yeah, it's not even that. Everybody that comes through Discord has complaints about it.
Dude, the first time I started Discord, like Dan got me on Discord and he's like, man, it's the best. You can come on here and hang out. We can do all this stuff. And I'm like, the first day I was on here, I'm like, I hate this. I do not want to be back. But now I love it, dude. I can't get enough of it. And while we're talking about it, I'm actually going to post my link right here in the chat. Please join up in the Discord, guys. Growing this thing out. Boom. And yeah, so
Can I see the chat or no?
The chat, you could probably, you probably honestly would have to open it on your phone or,
all right,
YouTube.
Tab. Yeah.
Well, you guys will shoot questions to me, right? So I don't have to.
They'll pop up on screen. Yep.
Yeah, and anybody in the chat along the way as we go, I'm going to be checking it out. Sam, the mod in there. If you see anything, Sam, that is you think that should get to me, send that to me privately through Discord. I'm going to keep an eye on that, and then I'll just randomly keep an eye out as well. And try to grab anything that comes through, guys. And if I do miss anything, I apologize. When we have guests on here, it's hard to kind of keep everything going. But yeah, man. Yeah, Bob, thank you so much. First of all, I want to fucking promote your shit. Please go and check out this website, dude. We were talking about this before we just went on the air. I'm currently going through the Gacy tapes, and they're fucking dope as shit. They're crazy as hell.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance, but that's the next. Hopefully I can, is it available through Google Podcasts by chance?
Apple, right?
It's on all platforms.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's how I usually listen to podcasts in my car. That's the only time I get a chance to listen to podcasts. So that's the next thing I'm going to put up.
Yeah, it's everywhere, man. We're legit in terms of we're everywhere on every podcatcher. So some are get messages about Castbox being fucked up a little bit, but and Apple. Terms because we have the serialized pod, which is AC season 1, which is done. That's 36 episodes. It's fucking epic. If deep dives are not your shit, that's not going to be your shit. If they are, you will love it. And then season 2 is a case that I handled with my father and my wife Allison, who's also a criminal defense attorney. Crazy case about this doctor who was alleged and convicted of killing 4 people over 5 years, not while he was practicing medicine, but as a revenge theme was the theory of the state. It's another epic one. I'm on episode 38 of that, and it's probably going to go 50.
Wow.
But, I tried the case, so it's different.
Is that the Garcia case I've heard you talk about?
Yeah, and then we have, and what we started doing is a little side pod called The Docket, where we handle current shit. So, we did Allison and I, my wife, I finally brought her on the pod, and we're doing, we did a 12 episode crunch on Valo while it was going. We were trying, the concept was going to be try to do every day after the witnesses, but they wouldn't release sound until 6 o'clock at night. And it was 5 hours of testimony, dude. So we're not getting down into the studio to record until midnight, and we're going till 3, 4 in the morning. And there was just no cross-examination. So they were flying through the witnesses. There was no way. So we basically ended up just kind of focusing on the most germane witnesses. And we kind of killed that game a little bit with Valo. Because what we try to do is a lot of true crime consumers love this shit, don't necessarily understand every facet or every turn of phrase. Some of the legalese, what the fuck does shit mean in terms of a motion to suppress and all that type of. So we try to explain it because it makes for you guys out there that aren't lawyers and didn't go to law school and who want to know everything, it makes it way more enjoyable for y'all when you're like digging into shit to be like, oh, well, I fucking know what that means. You know what I mean? So we don't try to come off like, know-it-all douchebags. We're just trying to do it in a way that breaking shit down in a way that people understand it so that they can enjoy and consume in a way that is more fruitful for them. So, and I think we do a pretty good job with it.
That's the cool thing about Twitter today too, man. You got all these legal minds on there that can, in real time give you a definition or, come in and kind of give you some help, man. And I love that, dude.
And then the Jennifer Coffin-Daffers of the world who are
yeah, I watch that all day long on there.
Oh my God.
Your arch nemesis right there.
She's my fucking arch. She's like Newman, like Newman every time I see her.
I think it'd be entertaining to get you guys on a podcast together, though.
Oh shit!
Let them go.
I've been on like a Spaces with her, like a Twitter Spaces with her before, like when the whole conflict, the potential Ann Taylor conflict arose, like early on in the Idaho 4 case, and she was screaming and yelling that it was a conflict because Ann Taylor had represented one of the parents on like a drug case like years before, and then she had another drug case that she picked up as a PD. I'm like, that's not a fucking conflict, man. Like the conflict, like the attorney is the only one who knows what a conflict is. So and she just kept going on and on and on about it. I'm like, you're wrong. I don't understand what it is.
And she'll double down. She'll fight you back.
Like from a like a place of ignorance. It's like I'm all for somebody who's going to debate me, who's like knowledgeable, who knows what the fuck they're talking about, because then it's a real debate.
Right.
We're trying to convince each other of each other's position, knowing what the fuck we're talking about. When you're talking to somebody who has no idea what they're fucking talking about, like, stay in your lane. I don't try to pretend like I know Fed shit. Like I don't pretend like I know how to fucking go in and interrogate somebody because I wasn't trained. I mean, certainly I know how to like watch an interview because all my clients have been interviewed by cops over the years, and I've watched thousands of them. And my number one rule is shut the fuck up. So you should never be talking to cops anyway. So, that's the first thing I should be, I'm always like, yo, man, I shouldn't even be looking at an interview with the cops with you because you should have shut the fuck up and not said a goddamn word. That's the rule. It's a simple rule, man.
Dude, I don't know why people don't. I mean,
dude, they don't like even
nobody follows this rule. Everyone thinks they're smarter than everyone else.
It's not even that. It's like when you get put in the position where they have you in custody, they just make you feel like you have to talk to them, or they're basically playing it like, look, this is the only way we can help you. You will get out of here tonight if you just fucking help us. Like we're trying to clear you from this shit. And then they get them talking. I've had like repeat clients come in who I've fucking told them on repeat. I'm like, yo, don't talk to the cops. You are never, ever. And this is if you're innocent. If you're guilty, it doesn't matter. You don't make a statement. You lawyer up. It doesn't make you look guilty. It makes you look smart.
It's really just smart today, dude. I mean, hell, we live in a time frame where we see it all over the internet, all over YouTube. You can see in real time what will happen if you fuck up, you say the wrong thing. And there are a lot of gotcha moments with these cops and interrogations, dude. They're trying to get a motherfucker.
All they're trying to do, the whole thing is a gotcha moment for them. You know what I mean? That's their whole motive is gotcha.
Have you seen the Sarah Boone interrogation?
Yeah, I saw some of it.
She walked in there, and then by the end of it, they're like, "You're not free to go," and it's because she just went in there and kept running her fucking mouth. Like,
dude, it happens all the time,
crazy.
Man. It's crazy.
Yeah, so we're gonna dive into a little bit of this Idaho stuff here tonight. Everything has been hot as fuck this week with the grand jury, and yeah, me and Dan have got a lot of actual questions. Today I was going back over the affidavit, some of that stuff, and yeah, just in general, I know that when you were on Jay's show, you were saying, and a lot of different opinions on this, however you want to look at it, but you think that the affidavit is strong.
I do. Well, if you compare PCA in Idaho 4 to say Delphi, can you put those two one next to each other? You can see what an incredibly weak PCA is, which is Delphi.
Right.
And you can see what a strong one is with respect to, the Idaho 4 case, but then on that side pod that I'm talking about, the docket, like I go through, like I have 4 episodes on, Idaho 4, like one is in the can that's getting produced now that Alice and I just recorded. And it was after the arraignment. when he stood silent, which like the whole internet exploded. And I'm like, dude, it doesn't mean shit. It's got no legal consequence. It's like the judge entered what he would have said anyway, which is not guilty. And like we were trying to come up with, without being in Ann Taylor's mind. We'll get into that. I'm sure you guys have questions.
That is actually where that was one of them for sure.
Yeah, so like I'll wait on that. But in terms of that PCA, when I start digging into it, then you start to see all the warts, and I'm talking about the Idaho 4. Like the whole thing with Dylan stinks. Like there's something off about that. Like like this frozen shock phase bullshit doesn't make any fucking sense. This is clearly a kid who's like in college. Everyone rages in college till 4 in the fucking morning. That's not unusual. You have Xana ordering fucking DoorDash at 4:30 in the morning. I mean, that's college. That's what it's like. I mean, like this isn't normal adult world where, we're all in bed by like 1 at the latest. Yep. Some people were in bed by, they raged all night. They went to the bars. They came home at 2:30, fucking around. Like even her seeing somebody walking out of that place, she would have assumed, I think, that somebody in the house hooked up.
That's
and
what I would think. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like she had no reason to believe, because no one would in that position, that 4 of her roommates had just been murdered. No one is ever fucking thinking that. And she clearly didn't hear any screaming. If she had heard screaming, it would have been in the PCA. So the PCA, like what's silent in the PCA is the shit that tells you what didn't happen.
Right.
Because she had heard people screaming, that 100% would have been in there. If she had heard people screaming, she would have called 911. The fact that she didn't call 911, well, and when you look at it and you're trying to figure out, okay, well, what are the cops trying to accomplish here? And I heard that both Steve and Dan, I heard you guys talking about the concept of cops leading them down the primrose path, which happens all the time. Like exactly what you're saying, where like Dylan is like explaining something, and then the cop suggests, like, well,
yeah.
Well,
they're putting words in her mouth. Yeah.
You were in shock. Like you were in shock,
Yeah.
right? And she's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that
you
works.
know what I mean?
Right, she's probably actually at that moment, she's actually seen some shit, right? She's woke up, seen the house.
At this point, she's traumatized.
At that moment, right? She is in shock.
Yeah.
So, but at 4:30 in the morning, she just thinks her roommates are being assholes and they're like fucking with her ability to be able to fall asleep. She's probably, she hears the dog barking upstairs and she's like, shut the fucking dog up.
Yeah. She's trying to go to bed.
Right. Like Xana and Ethan are arguing is what she thinks in her mind. And then she peeks out a few times. She sees some dude leaving. She doesn't see him covered in blood because it's fucking dark. The guy's wearing all black. If he's got a knife, which he had to have because he had to get it out somehow, we know he left the sheath, so it's not in the sheath, so he has to be carrying it by his side, or he tucked it inside of a jacket pocket somewhere. Yeah. But she's not seeing that either. So she has no reason to think anything has gone on nefarious. So she just goes to bed. Like that's why she doesn't call. But Moscow police, when they don't call until 11:48 or 58, whatever it is the next day, right before noon, they have to come up with an excuse. Is like, why the fuck wasn't law enforcement called until noon?
Yeah, dude.
When you have 2 surviving people in the house, it makes no sense. So like that was the shit they were trying to deal with, is all this shit was coming down because the whole world was blowing up on this thing. I'm like, man, just, when I started digging into that PCA, it became less strong than at first blush, but like, that's what I do for a living. I read PCAs all the time when they come. My job is to pick them apart, because we have no idea. Like all we know about that DNA on the sheath is claiming it was single source, right? We have no idea what the quality of the DNA, like we don't know if they're going to get a partial profile or a full profile. We don't know any of that. And anybody who's acting like they do know is full of shit. Because we don't know. I deal with DNA in my cases, and I know what a good profile looks like, and I know what a shit profile looks like. And if it's like a partial profile, it's not going to be that great of evidence in terms of, look, like this is a bulletproof. The guy has his fucking DNA on this sheath. Now explain why it's in here.
Well, actually, I have a question. About that. So, could they determine, after analyzing the father's DNA, could they determine 99.999% on a partial sample from the sheath?
I mean, maybe. Like as to dad, but like dad's irrelevant now. Like the internet was blowing up and people were like messaging me and like, oh, is the sheath gonna be? Because like if you look at like one of their state's responses for the discovery, like the motion to compel from the defense, where they're saying turn shit over, you owe us shit. We know this shit exists and we want it. And one of the things they've been asking for is the genealogical DNA like tests. They just want to see all the data. They want to see the research that was done so that they have it. And I think that they have a right. I think ultimately the judge is going to rule that they have to turn it over, because the state is like, look, it's like, number one, we're not using that DNA because we now have the defendant's DNA. That's what we'll use. That'll be the profile that we're comparing. Dad's is never coming into trial. We have no intent on using that. So people were confusing that as saying that, oh, well, now they're not going to introduce the sheath. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's the strongest piece of evidence they have. Of course they're introducing the sheath. Now, if they're like, the sheath is one thing, because the sheath was found pursuant to a search, whether it was warrantless at first, which is there's a carved out exception for it, because there was a homicide that took place. So the cops, when they walk in a homicide scene, there's an exception to the warrant where they can search the house. Number one, they're going to clear the house. Number two, then they're going to conduct a search, but then they're going to send somebody over to the courthouse to go get the warrant, which they did. So they covered their ass every way that they could with that. So the sheath is getting in. The question is whether or not they're going to turn over those reports. And if they continue to refuse to do it, the judge might bar them from putting any DNA evidence in, which will force them to cave, give the defense whatever the fuck they want with it, because the defense deserves to have it all so that they can send it to their expert so they can compare. Because there is a chain of custody issue, at least as to the DNA that came from Dad. Like the sheath never went anywhere other than Idaho,
the third party
police, and then sending it to the lab, and then it gets sent back to Idaho. Like the garbage from, the house in PA, that went from PA to a lab to Idaho, or from PA to Idaho to a lab. You know what I'm saying? And like anytime you have evidence and anytime it starts moving into different hands, that's where you worry about the chain of custody. For us, for defense attorneys, chain of custody is everything. That's how I know that they're not fucking tampering with the evidence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's huge for us, because that concept that, the police never cheat is of course ridiculous. I mean, they do. I mean, like the cops aren't out there trying to like plant shit on innocent people. What they do is they plant shit on people that they think did it, and they don't have the evidence to get them. Like that's what happens.
That's
it's like
scary as fuck.
It's scary as fuck, right? So
before we move on, I got a legal question, Bob, about the father's DNA comparison thing. So because that was actually used in the probable cause affidavit, would that then be required to be handed over to the defense because it was in the PCA?
That's what the defense is saying. And then when the state replied in their response, which I've obviously read at this point ad nauseum, the state is saying, look, pursuant to 16.1 of the IRC, which is the Idaho Rules of Criminal Law, that they don't have to turn it over because that DNA did not belong to the defendant. It's not relevant to the case. We're not using it. So when we have that hearing on the 9th of June, Dan, it's going to be all about that. Like that is what that battle is going to be about, whether or not they have to turn it over. But what I'm telling you, it really is irrelevant in terms of the case, because they have DNA of the defendant. You know what I'm saying? Like the old man's DNA is irrelevant. What they're going to have is a profile that they've created from the defendant's DNA, because he was compelled to give it over. So they went and created the DNA from that. And then they have the profile that they've got from the sheath. So you got the sheath and then you've got his, and that's what the comparison is. The old man shit is irrelevant. It really is. It doesn't matter at all. But point is, the defense deserves to be able to see that report that was generated off that DNA that was found there, just to see how they got to it. You know what I'm saying? Like for comparison's sake, they're going to want to be able to turn that over to their expert to look at it. Like,
does it feel like there is some shady shit going on to you from looking at it? Like,
no, I mean, dude, it's like,
is it just kind of how the game's played? Like,
I know how the game's played, dude. Like if you ever get to my Garcia season, that was a fucking war. That was a fucking war. I mean, Allison got kicked off that case for doing a Skype interview with the news, because they hated my wife because she's a fucking pit bull. She was literally papering them to death with her motion work. Was unbelievable. She was fucking they were like, dude, we got to get rid of this bitch because she is a fucking animal. For real though. And it was like, and that was a war. They did, it's like, a case like that, the state has spent so much money, so much manpower, so much time, and they have so much invested in this guy being the guy. They're going to do everything in their power to get that conviction. And, and if you've got a strong defense attorney on the other side, you're going to fight like hell. They hated us in Omaha. They still hate us in Omaha. Like the prosecutors, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. This is a death penalty case.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to prove your fucking case beyond a reasonable doubt so I can sleep at night. You're trying to put my guy to death. I want to know that you proved your case beyond a reasonable doubt. And the only way I can do that is by fighting like hell on every piece of evidence, going in with scorched earth. And that was the advantage because that case was in Omaha for us. It wasn't my stomping grounds. You know what I mean? So like here, I've got to, like, when I'm in my home turf, I play it cool most of the time because I have relationships with the state's attorneys where, I can't just look at it like I only have one client. I got a bunch of clients. And if I piss off a state's attorney and they're like, well, fuck Motta, this guy's a total jagoff. I'm not going to be able to negotiate in a way because this concept of nothing goes to trial, boys. Like 95%, maybe 96, 97% of shit is pled out, which is a whole nother episode, like a whole nother stream we'll do on how fucked that is. Like this, where everything's pled out is crazy. Because you get people where they plead out to shit that they haven't done just to get out of jail.
That's fucked up.
Dude, it's fucked up. And like when you get somebody who gets picked up on like a minor drug charge, like say they have a bag of blow, like I'm talking like a gram, like nothing, and they've got them in that, which is a felony in Illinois. And then they set bond at $5,000 or like $50,000 on a fucking gram, like a gram of blow, which here in Illinois, you got to come up with $5,000. And these folks are broke as fuck. Dude. They then sit in jail until this thing goes to fucking trial, or the state says, you know what, we'll make them an offer. And then they're like, I want to get the fuck out of jail. So they'll plead to some shit where, they might not have necessarily have had the fucking blow. Like, I have won more cases than you would ever believe in terms of where the cops have planted shit.
The wildest, the wildest ones to me on that side of it are like, that would be shitty as hell. But I mean, the dudes that actually confessed to murders, they didn't kill anybody. Like, what is that shit?
And it's like,
are they just wanting out of the pressure interrogation moment so bad? They're like, yeah, I did it, whatever.
Yeah, man. I mean, if you have like a Brendan Dassey who's got like a known low IQ, who that kid that you're watching that shit on, dude, it's like, or you got
that one was terrible.
Mental illness, or they're 18 to 24 hours into an interrogation where they're not letting you sleep. You're in this fucking room. They're coming at you hard. They're coming at you hot and cold. They're good cop, bad copping you. They're fucking with your mind. And like at the end of the day, they're always saying, because the Supreme Court of the United States has said cops can lie to you in interrogations in order to extract a confession. That's in the books, like in 100%. Like, concept that cops don't get on the stand and lie, which finally the thing is turned around, because that used to be like, oh, a cop in his uniform's getting on the stand, we have to believe everything he says. No, you fucking don't.
There was a part in that Murdoch trial where they got him on there, right?
No one is trained to lie more than cops are. They're literally trained to lie in order to extract confessions from people. They are trained liars, and they're great at it.
Yeah.
So like, what happens in those confessions that are just completely irrelevant and are being extracted from people that didn't do it is, they're saying, look, man, just tell us we're trying to help you here. If you just tell us what happens, you're walking out of here tonight. Or we think that we're going to be able to make you, they give them some story where they think that they're going to help them get out of this thing that they didn't even do. If you want to go home tonight, you got to help us with this. So people just start saying what they think the cops want them to say. And that's where you get the things where, they'll get facts wrong and the cops will turn off the recorder and they'll say, all right, and they'll give them hypotheticals. And then the person will get closer to what actually happened in terms of, because that's always what they're doing. They're always trying to vet shit, like by way of finding out if this potential suspect has details that only perpetrator would know. You know what I mean? That's the number one way for a cop to know if the guy they're dealing with, like they're always pushing those little buttons when they have a guy in a room and they're like, yo, look, You need to know the details. Tell us how it went down. And then the guy tells him a version that's completely fucked up. It's kind of like what happened with Adnan Syed and Jay Wilds. Like, if you guys fucked with Serial at all, in that case is crazy. And like they had Jay Wilds in that interrogation room on 4 different occasions. He kept fucking shit up. Ultimately, they land on a story where Adnan Syed's driving to the Blockbuster, opening his trunk. He's got Heyman Lee dead in there. And he says, like Jay Wilds claims that he says, I strangled her with my bare hands. That got him convicted. That and that alone. I mean, there was some other shit, cell phone tower shit. But then, as you know, 20 plus years later, Baltimore County goes in and they do a year-long investigation and they find that the conviction can't be trusted. So they vacate it. And then the idiots, in terms of all of them, didn't give notice to Heyman Lee's family. And they fucking, like, the brother comes in and says, what the fuck? Like this has been like, our family's been going through this nightmare for 20 years. You're going to send me like an email saying that you're letting the guy that you told me did it? My family thought that we had closure and we got justice. Now you're telling me he didn't do it? Dude. And you're not giving me any fucking notice to come to the hearing? Well, the appellate court didn't like that shit. So they they fucking undid everything that they did. So they re-convicted him. They removed the fucking vacation of the conviction. Now he's sitting back where he was. And now there's a different state's attorney in there. It's not Carolyn Mosby. Or like that guy could end up back in the joint, back exactly where he was, just because they didn't give notice to the victim's family, which they 100% should have done in the beginning.
Little things like that, dude.
The human being, you just do that. Like, you give these people the courtesy of saying, because when that thing happened, man, like, and I know I'm switching cases on you, but
no,
like,
dude, you're good.
Talking about the big ones, man. So on Syed, it's like, yeah, right, Dara. That's what I'm talking about.
Dara Johnson.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it's like with that Syed thing, like, because I was under the impression that what they were going to do is that they had an arrest imminent, like that they were going to arrest one of these 2 alternate suspects, like right away, that they had dug up some shit, that they had gotten some DNA off the body, that they had a match. Because like when I looked at it, like I got a ton of clients. They had just as strong like PCRA, which is Post-Conviction Relief Act claims, as Adnan Syed. Like the cell phone shit was unreliable. You had a fucking witness that was unreliable. There was no new evidence per se. They just kind of picked apart the shit that was already presented at trial and said it was weak. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I want to know whose DNA. Right. Me too, Dara. I mean, like why can't we get that answer? That's kind of what I'm saying. Like, I expected an arrest to be imminent, because I didn't think there was enough for them to overturn the conviction. You know what I mean? Like, on its face, like without an arrest being imminent. And plus, with like the victim's family, like the expectation would be like, oh, okay, well, you're going to let this guy out, but you don't have the guy? What the fuck?
Dude.
I'd be.
I'm going to have to look into that one. I've heard of that case, but I've never like dove into it. Like,
oh, dude.
I'm completely unfamiliar. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That is. Hey, thanks, True Crime Cafe. Like, dude. That's what got me into pods. Like, Serial was the first thing. Like, I kept hearing about it. I'm like, what the fuck is a podcast?
Yeah,
man?
yeah.
And then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to fuck with this. And then I fell in love with it.
Dude, they're
it was
the
like,
best. And you're
dude,
fit perfectly for it, because the podcasts are amazing because you can just flow, like,
fucking talk.
No
forever.
edited bullshit, dude. It's out there on the internet, man. Like, dude, it fits perfectly with your personality and the way you can just roll.
And I like to spit the truth, and I'm a fact guy. Like the one thing that you'll never find me doing on Twitter or any socials or in my podcast is speculating on bullshit. And if I give a theory, I say loud and clear, this is a theory. It's not based on fact. Because like that's like, I'm sure we're gonna get into this. Like, like I don't know if y'all want to talk about that Dateline at all, but
I have God. Let's go into that. Yeah.
So,
what do you think about that shit? All the craziness that's coming out of that,
dude. Like I was disgusted.
Okay, first of all, the story with the sister.
Dude, like the story with the sister, I have no fucking idea if it's true or
not.
Like,
dude, that's the thing. Like we don't know after the last 6 fucking months of all the bullshit.
You're not going to give me your source. Like, unnamed sources are fucking useless to me. Like, it's like nobody said it. It's like my uncle's sister's brother's best friend that he saw on the L like 4 days ago told me some shit, and I'm going.
I'm honestly
like,
surprised the Dateline didn't go, well, the source is actually the Daily Mail, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly. You're Jennifer Coffindaffer. She's the source of all of it. It's like, dude,
that actually might be true. She was there.
It's very likely it's true. The whole fact that that the Papa Roger thing was on there.
That's popping off like that's all anybody's even talking about right now.
That's 100% Coffindaffer. Like, she's been all over that shit from the get, and I'm like, when I first looked at that profile, when I became aware of it, I'm like, yo, man. I mean, this is pretty fucking it. I was like, this could be the dude. Because I was like the sheep thing, that one interaction with the one dude who were going back and forth with the sheep. Because their first she was like, ooh, this motherfucker called him a sheep before we knew it was a sheep. It was happening.
That's what got me. Yeah.
Right. That's what got all of us. But then, if you know anybody that's a hunter or a vet, anybody that's fucked with a straight blade knife knows there's always a sheath. It's the only way that you can carry it. It's not like like any kind of blade, a folding blade. Like if you're carrying a 6.5-inch knife, you have to have a sheath. So when I thought of it in that respect, it didn't seem as prophetic or this fucking dude knew. You know what I mean? It's it's kind of common sense wise. But when I first read it, I was like, ooh, shit.
And the only other weird thing he really said was he was saying, trying to throw the scent off of the Elantra, but the Elantra was already out there. We already knew about it. It wasn't like he was talking about something no one knew about. So
exactly,
which
they did that bolo on the Elantra, knowing they had already identified that VIN that was his whip. You know what I'm saying? So you guys, I think that bolo came out might be fuzzy on the dates just because I've got so many cases running through my head, but I wanted, and if somebody in the chat knows, I thought it was around December 7th, that bolo on the Elantra, where they put out that statement. They're like, yo, if anyone knows whose vehicle this is.
It was around that time for sure.
Right,
I'm wanting to say if it wasn't that week, it was the next in December.
Right. So it was but the point being that they already had identified whose vehicle it was. Because I want to say they came up whoever the security guard at the Pullman campus had found the fucking car over there, and they had already. So when they did that,
it was November 28th or 9th or something like that.
So that was a play to see how this fucking guy would react. They already knew it was his car. So when they did that, when they put that out to the world at large, that would have been, if he was smart, that would have been his opportunity to come forward and say, yeah, that's my car. My car. But when he didn't, he stayed silent, because remember, they knew who he was at that point. Now we, when the bolo came out, we're all because I kept saying that on my TikTok and in the pod and everywhere. I'm like I'm gonna tell you right now, if the fucking people that own that Elantra don't come forward, that's your fucking guy, because there's no other reason not to come forward unless you don't want to be fucking caught, unless you're smart enough to play it okay, it's my car. They obviously have my shit on video. Didn't that fucking idiot drive around and see that there were fucking cameras?
Dude,
because these are on buildings. They're the long white camera.
Yeah.
He was over there 12 times and he didn't know that he'd be on video. I mean, and then, this guy was no rocket scientist and no criminal mastermind. I'll tell you that right now.
And in the affidavit, the first thing they start talking about, the FBI expert that's talking about stuff, they didn't nail down the car at first, or 2011 to 2013, with the original footage from King Road and the businesses and the homes, right? Probably shitty ass surveillance. After they got the WSU footage, then they knew. I bet that's good ass footage. And then they matched that fucking no front license plate as well. That all fucking makes sense, dude. That
was the key, the no front plate, because in Pennsylvania, it's not a law. In Idaho, it is,
dude.
So that was their first cue that we got the right car. And I wasn't sweating them on that shit. A grainy ass fucking video of basically an import. It could be a million cars, not a million, but 5 or 6 different whips. It's when you talk about the Delphi shit, where they're talking about the car that was parked by the abandoned building. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Delphi case, but there's one guy who's well, yeah, I saw a car and it was a purple, I forget what the fuck they're called. They look they look like ice cream trucks. Somebody will fucking know what it is, but I'm PT Cruiser.
Okay, yeah.
Nothing looks like a PT Cruiser.
Right.
Like that thing, and this guy, like the one witness, because multiple witnesses saw vehicles there, get this building, and the one guy that had the most information in terms of specifics, like yeah, it was a purple PT Cruiser, because the other ones were like, oh, it was like a white, something, maybe Toyota Corolla, like they didn't know, and they were younger, so that that the guy that gave the most specifics actually saw the car there, and in that case, that fucking Richard Allen didn't own a PT Cruiser, where he did own like a white foreign job, like a little like late model foreign job. So like they, you have that issue. Like don't even get me started on the Delphi shit. Are you guys like up on that case?
I'm not super deep into that one, but I do know
Not
about
either.
it.
It's Abby and Libby. It's like that went 5 years cold. It's one of the big ones. It's one of the huge true crime cases. Like that's one I'm going to be driving to Delphi and getting in.
Oh,
that
I heard
trial.
you say that. Yeah. That's
Yep.
when you have the boots on the ground for. Yeah.
I want to be boots on the ground for that. Like frankly, I'd like to be boots on the ground for Idaho 4, man, but Allison might kill me.
That'd be wild, man.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna go out to Idaho for 6 weeks. Like, dude, you go fuck yourself, So
now that would be amazing to be able to actually be
it'd
there.
be great, man. And it's
wild.
like for me, it's like you just can't trust reporters in terms of what they're tweeting because they just don't understand the law and they'll misconstrue shit that they hear in there.
Yep.
So you're getting kind of like half truths or a version of what was said because like every word matters in the law. It just
and
does.
I like to follow different like lawyers and attorneys on Twitter now because you get a little bit of a different take. I like the kind of you do it on there all the time with these different folks. Like you get a little bit of a back and forth going, man, and like
yeah,
me,
totally.
I'm fucking stupid, dude. Like I'm reading this and I'm like picking up little pieces. Like I love it. Like it's super intriguing to me.
All right, let me say goodnight to my small here.
Oh, nice. Thank you all for being here and hanging out. Appreciate the hell out of it, guys. If you're hanging out, please hit the like. That really helps us out in the algorithm. Dara Johnson, I think I'm saying that right. Sarah, but it's Dara. I've been fucking her name up for days now. Thank you so much for hanging out. Appreciate the shit out of it. If you're coming through here and you ain't subbed up, please sub up. Hit the 3 little dots on the side. All notifications. Make sure that's clicked on. YouTube fucking sucks. If you do click that, you'll be more likely to get our stuff. I'm always posting in the community, dropping videos, doing lives. And while I'm at it, just real quick, I'm going to drop a link in the chat here. Please follow on Twitter because I'm always on Twitter just talking shit.
Oh, hey, and fellas, I'm going to send you my link tree. Would you be kind enough to put it into the chat? So that's got all my socials, the pod. It's got everything.
Perfect. I'll drop that right
absolutely.
I'll send that to you in Twitter if you guys can. Is that the best way to send it to you? Or
Yeah.
should I email it?
Yeah, that'd be perfect. I'm on there right now.
Okay, I'm going to toss it in. All right, what else you guys got? I can multitask.
Well, I wanted to ask you. So we've actually had a guest on before, and one thing that he brings up is they talk about cell phone pings in the PCA, right? Yeah. And then of course they're tracking the cell phone pings along with the video footage of the Elantra. So that's how they're kind of matching that up and making it more concrete. Right. But at one point in the PCA, they actually say that they think, or not think, but that Kohberger's phone pinged a Moscow tower, but they know or believe that he wasn't there at the time. So it's almost like they debunk their own evidence in the PCA, because I'm assuming it was a Monday morning. He was probably at work. He probably has an alibi for not being in Moscow or Moscow that morning. So they know he wasn't there. But why even put that in the PCA, first of all? And second of all, does it kind of weaken their evidence in terms of the cell phone pings?
Well, that cell phone data is going to get torn apart at trial. Like what I've heard, they only have a limited amount of towers over there where things are going to ping. So you're not going to get that like 3-foot radius type shit.
Yeah, here's actually a map that we pulled up of
that the towers?
Area. That's supposedly that's the towers. Yeah, I think that's from what we were doing some research trying to figure out what towers were over there.
Offline database with details on site owner.
Yeah, so I mean, like, because ultimately what'll be litigated down the road is, what kind of proximity they can get to the tower, like in terms of feet, yards, miles, blocks. I mean, the more it expands out, the less weight you give the evidence. You know what I'm saying? So in terms of that, I mean, I like I think the pings in terms of placing him near, King Road and by the spot, it's going to be less compelling than the video evidence. You know what I'm saying? Because like the video evidence, they did that right. Like, because like it's one thing to know that the car is there, right? And then they're able to figure out who owns the car, but they can't see who the driver is. As a criminal defense attorney, I could say, well, it was somebody else driving the car. I loaned the car to somebody or so, whatever the case may be. So, that's why they, like, when you look in the PCA and they follow him all the way in terms of the PCA to the market, he parks. It's the same white car. And they have video of him getting out of the car, him going into the market, him buying some shit, him walking out. That puts him in the car the next morning. You know what I mean? So, and
I was reading that earlier.
Is to diffuse the argument that it wasn't him driving, because it's one thing to say, okay, well, it's his car. It's another thing altogether, because what we're not going to be able to see is who was driving it.
Yep.
Until he gets to the market, and that's how they're going to put it together. I mean, look,
it'd be a lot harder to say somebody stole my car if he's seen getting in and out of it.
That shit.
That's,
if the DNA shit comes back strong, it's going to be a tough case for them to win.
Dude.
I mean, it just is. It's like, because
do you think that he could still like plea? Like if they get some more stuff, do you think that'd be down the line just to maybe try to save his life?
Yeah, like let me get into that. So like this, when he stood silent, that's some old timey shit. Like it's rarely done anymore, not just in Idaho, but anywhere. I've been practicing 21 years trying cases. I've never had anybody stand silent. So it's like, but the effect is the same. It has zero effect on the case. And everyone at their arraignment has to plead either guilty, not guilty, or they stand silent. And if you do stand silent, the judge can never say, oh, well, I'm entering a guilty plea on your behalf. They can't do that. They can only enter a not guilty plea.
Literally all it does is just stir up the community, right? People talking about it.
And that is like, so that's the question. So there were three theories out there. There was the theory that Coffindaffer that was thrown out there that, look, this was the defendant's fuck you to the system. You're not telling me what I'm going to do. I'm running this game. You can't make me do shit, blah, 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 blah. So that's the one theory. That theory sucks. Okay. Yeah. The other theory is that guy would not known independently that the option of standing silent existed unless his attorney told it to him. Okay. That's facts.
Wow.
He's not sitting in there reading law books. So like he would have said to her, what happens at my arraignment exactly? Okay, because criminal justice is not learning how to practice law. He did not study that. Okay, like just don't confuse getting a criminal justice PhD with going to law school. They're completely different beasts. One is like forensics and more geared towards police work. And I hate to tell you, the cops don't know jack shit about the law. That's facts. That's why prosecutors are the ones who always authorize charges. It's never the police ever. Yeah, I mean, if it's a shoplifting,
these police videos now to know they don't know the law at all.
Yeah.
They don't know. I've been telling people that for 20 fucking years, and people are like, yeah, they do. I'm like, no, they don't,
dude.
That's why they call. There's always a prosecutor on duty. If they have a case that because the prosecutor knows what the elements of the crime are and what they need to be able to prove it. So they're the ones who authorize the charges. So it's like one of those dogs for sure. You need to listen to my podcast, Dogs.
Dogs Over Humans is great. Yeah, they've been coming through. They're a great chatter.
Yeah, and like that, like just to jump on that point, yeah, dude, a majority of the evidence is going to come post arrest.
Yeah,
they have more access to the defendant like after the arrest than they ever did before. It's like post arrest. They get into his apartment. They get into the parent's house. They get his car. They get all of his devices. They talk to people that knew him. Like they're gathering huge amounts of evidence post arrest. Like in Garcia, I'd say 70%, because that investigation went on the entire time after his arrest while my guy was in jail. Like up until like the eve of trial, 3 years later, they were still out there gathering evidence to try this case. So like this thing with defendant in that case, and if you guys are wondering, I never say that fucking guy's name because I can just tell he wants people to. He wants to be that guy. Not like that's my fuck you to him. Like I'm just not going to say it. Like I feel pretty confident he did it.
Yeah.
I just I'm not like I understand what people are saying and like people are coming up with theories and
dude,
like,
I still want to see the shit laid out, but like
Has to
Dude,
be.
the last time we went through the affidavit, I don't know if when it really came out, dude. I think when it first came out, we read the thing, and then we have months and months of this endless speculation, dude. I got lost in it numerous times. You know what I'm saying? You're making these videos, you're trying to see what's going on.
Right.
The last time when some new shit dropped, we were like, man, let's go back through this entire thing. And dude, I kind of came out of
the PCA makes sense.
Really
dude,
good.
like listen to my docket episode where I read the entire PCA into it and I'm explaining it like as I go through it.
I'm gonna listen to that one.
Apart, dude, it's worth it. It's fucking good because like I'm coming at it like that's my job. It's to pick apart PCAs and find out what's bullshit and what's not. Because remember, there's one thing that I want everybody that's watching to understand about how the criminal justice system works is that there's only two people. If it's a one-on-one crime, or in this case, a 1-on-5 crime, there's only 5 people that really know what fucking happened that night, and 4 of them, unfortunately, are deceased, and the other is the perpetrator. Fucking state's attorney wasn't there, the defense attorney wasn't there, and the cops weren't there. So what you get is a theory. So the first thing what the PCA is the state's theory of the case based on the evidence that the police collected, and that's all it is. So every time that a case is broke and they make an arrest, the thing that you're hearing exclusively is the state's theory, and that's all the fuck it is. I'm always telling people, I'm like, look, we're all human. We're all going to form like an initial opinion, like, ooh, they got him. They got the right motherfucker. They nailed it. Like, and I'm not saying don't do that because you're not going to be able to help it. We all do. I do it.
Yeah.
What I'm asking people to do in a case like this where there's going to be questions, it's going to go to trial, is wait to form your final opinion until after all the evidence is heard.
100%.
The reality is it becomes less of a theory as evidence is presented.
Dude, right. It sounds like super common sense type shit, but just go online. People don't do that. You've got fucking pitchfork and torch motherfuckers out there. He should die. I'm like, can we go to
They freak out, dude.
Yep.
Let's just go to trial, and then you can say he can die if he's found guilty, right? So it's like that's a majority of people. Like I do like really, really heavy lifting and trying to teach people just to hold back. And if you have any of my listeners like in this shit right now, they're gonna tell you that like I've changed their opinion and their mind in terms of how they look at these cases because we all have to wait. Because at this point, all we know is what the state saying that they think happened. That's it. It's their they were not there. They don't know what happened.
That's where speculation is born, is through the waiting.
Exactly. And it's a huge advantage for the state because they're the ones who get their shit out to the public first. Yep. Like and I'm gonna go back to Delphi, like in Delphi before they put the gag in, after the PCA dropped, the defense counsel, it was like one of the first times I'd seen it in a high profile case where they shot out a letter, point by point, hammering away at the PCA. So they got their narrative out. So you had 2 competing narratives to just sit out there and stew, as opposed to just having the state's narrative where like it is most of the time where we're all just sitting there picking apart what the state thinks. And we have no idea what the defense is thinking. And, you know, the one thing that everybody knows, or I would assume everybody knows, is nothing is going to surprise the defense. They're getting everything in discovery, right? So the defense is going to be doing their own investigation. They're going to be hiring their own experts.
Yeah, we've already seen that happening. Yeah.
Part of it, dude. Yeah, I mean that's how it's done.
Yeah.
A case like this is, you know, so they're going to be like they'll have their own DNA guy. They'll have their own forensic cell guy. They had their own crime scene analyst over there. We know that they had a guy over there looking at the shit. Because that's going to be the other thing about this case. It's going to be a fucking nightmare because there were, I don't know how many frat boys in that.
Yeah, dude.
Destroying the crime scene.
What is that even going to be like? Like, how are they even approaching that shit now even? Like,
it's going to be a nightmare. Like, it's like we're not going to find out about anything that went on in that house until the defense starts filing its motions to suppress.
And even like, I know
that's what's going to happen.
And I know you've said that, you know, they're talking about the October date now. That's not going to happen, right? You don't think that this could think it's definitely probably going to be at least a year?
I mean, so I don't like a case this complex. Like it took us 3 years to get to trial on Garcia because it spanned 5 years. There were 4 homicides. It was similar in a lot of ways. Aside from that time gap.
And you said the investigation was still going even until the last minute.
3 years,
That's
dude.
crazy.
We were bringing out fucking bloodhounds Garcia's house in Indiana 8 years after Thomas Hunter, the 11-year-old boy, was killed, with a piece of his clothing that had his scent on it. And they were bringing a bloodhound out there 8 years after the fact to see if it would pick up the scent. And they claimed that it did, like on the concrete, 6 blocks away from Garcia's house, that the dog, that this bloodhound somehow. So we had to litigate that.
Wow, that was used in trial?
Oh no, we found out, and the judge was super pissed. It was the only motion we won because we had to win because it was a fucking Nebraska Supreme Court case from 100 years ago that said that dog sniffs are inadmissible at trial. The judge was furious at the state because the county attorney was prosecuting it, and the judge is I feel like, I'm like, are you telling me that you didn't know that this was a thing here, that you couldn't bring this in? You wasted all the court's time.
Wow.
That was like a highly litigated motion where we had witnesses coming in. They had the dog experts coming in. We're bringing in our own experts to challenge their shit. And then we find this case. And we're like, oh my God.
It was all a waste of time. It was all garbage.
Right. It was kind of on us. We should have found it earlier, but we assumed that because the county attorney, that's a lesson. Don't ever assume. They were doing everything, dude. It was dirty pool all the way through on that case. Like I said, there's a huge investment of time and money on these cases that people just don't think about. Yeah. That's the reality, and it comes from county funds. And
actually, that's a question for you as an attorney. What does it take to find something like that? What do you do? Are you looking at law books? Are you researching online? You're just spending hours and hours and hours on this stuff.
Oh my God, dude. Well, it's really
days even, or months or years.
Even, yeah. Well, it used to be you had to go to the books, man. You'd go, it was they had case reporting books. If you ever go to a law library, you'll see thousands of them from every state, from every case that went to appeal, because that's how law is created. In case, because we elect our representatives for our states, in case people don't know what the fuck they do. So when laws get drafted, they're always House bills. Right. So that's when you see HB, that means it's a proposed law that's been written by a legislator. And then it's got to get through the House and the Senate. And if it gets through both of those, it then turns into law. So once a new law is formed, once it's in action, that's when attorneys start picking at it. They're like, okay, well, this law is fucked. It's unconstitutional. This is why. And so they'll start arguing about it, and then it'll go up in appeal. Everything that you and that's how the law is built. It's all built. They call it precedent. And you use precedent to try to tear apart laws that exist, or you try to find cases to support your position in terms of attacking it. You know what I'm saying? But there's still this aspect that people forget about, is you can change the law. What happens if you just have a bad law in effect? You say, well, yeah, the old case law supports it, but it's fucking wrong.
You can create new precedents.
Right. So you're right. So the old precedent, I understand there's precedent that says it's good law, but what I'm saying is, generally speaking, this law sucks. It's got to go. So that's how you create new law, or you get rid of bad laws, Yeah. So it's and
you're a big Constitution guy, man.
A huge Constitution.
That's amazing, guy, bro.
My question was more how
defense attorneys, sorry, Dan, but
you're good.
Our number one job is to people don't understand the fact that prosecutors represent the state, the government. They I know on a caption it says the people of the state or wherever, but make no doubt about it that they represent the government. Okay, that they are a government entity. The police, the law enforcement is a government entity. The defense attorneys, we represent the people. We are the ones who are protecting constitutional provisions by filing the shit that we do. When we think that the cops have violated somebody's Fourth Amendment right, people get pissed off about it, and they're like, oh, some scumbag defense attorney just got a guy off on a technicality. I'm like, dude, learn some civics. That's not a fucking technicality. That's the Constitution of the United States. And if you don't give a shit about all of us not having the cops kick our doors in and 100%. Search our fucking houses or pull us over for no fucking reason, then you're welcome.
Absolutely.
Thank you. You're welcome that we file these motions. Because if we don't call them on that shit when they violate the Constitution, then they're going to do it. Because in that loss of evidence, that's what they call fruit of the poisonous tree, right? If we catch them where they did a bad search, where they didn't have probable cause, and the evidence gets suppressed, and say it's the main piece of evidence. If it's a drug case, and we say it was a bad search, and we litigate it, and the judge says, I agree, they didn't have probable cause, it's a bad warrant, therefore, officer, you lose that piece of evidence. Therefore, Mr. Prosecutor or Mrs. Prosecutor, you lose that evidence, which means the case goes away. You don't point at the defense attorney and say, you fucking asshole. You point at the cop, broke the fucking law, didn't follow the constitutional provisions. And those are the only laws that they need to know, that they're trained on what constitutes probable cause. They have to know that. Otherwise, every search is getting tossed out. So, that's really what we do. We police the police, okay? And what we do is we protect the Constitution, because the state's not doing it. They're we are the ones that are saying, okay, the government violated the constitutional rights of this person. Because that's what I'm saying. If it doesn't have teeth, like that fruit of the poisonous tree thing, doing whatever the fuck they want to do, whenever the fuck they want to do it. And if you don't think it happens, everyone go watch We Own This City on HBO Max, and it's about the gun force, or the gun trace task force in Baltimore. It's fucking crazy.
What's it called?
They were We Own This City. It's amazing. It's by the dude who did The Wire, David Simon. It's fucking amazing.
Dude, The Wire's like my favorite show, bro.
It's my favorite show too.
Dude,
so
The Wire's
you'll
so fucking good.
Fire, dude. I've watched it like 6 times, man.
Nice. Yeah, dude, I'm gonna be checking this
so
out.
good,
Fuck yeah.
It's great. That's it, dude.
Nice.
It's fucking great. It's a true story.
Dude.
It's about.
So it's been a while since I watched The Wire, but when I first started The Wire, I couldn't stop. I just stayed up all night.
Dude,
The first season of The Wire is unstoppable. It's insane. It's so good.
Yeah, dude, it's unbelievable, man. Season 1, season 4 were my favorites. Season 4 with the kids, the corner kids.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
So fucking real, dude. It was that's why you love The Wire, because it's authentic. It's so real. It's so gritty, and it feels because David Simon was a Baltimore Sun guy forever, and he was a crime beat guy. He knew that city. It's legit, It's there's no bullshit in there. He knew how they operated, the cops. So it's you're just getting the straight dope, and I'm all about the straight dope. Yeah, dude, look at that.
This dude's an awesome actor too.
Dude, look at this. And you got Jamie Hector, who was also in The Wire. He was Marlowe.
Oh yeah, dude.
Dude, no, that's Fire. So that basically what it is they were all rogue cops. So they were robbing the drug dealers. They were stealing the cash. They'd steal some of the drugs. They were arresting people on bullshit. Dude, it's crazy. And it's all true. It's all fucking true.
Nice. Yeah, dude, I'm going to check this out. You sold me with The Wire line.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I had you at Wire. I had you at The Wire.
Yeah, bro, I was well, we're here. I got to look this up right now. That's why I was what was it called? Yeah, dude.
Great, dude. It's so good. It's so good. I wish it was 50 episodes, but it was only 6. So what else, guys?
Let me see here. I'm looking back through my notes here. Let's see. We've hit a lot of stuff here, man.
We touched on something I wanted to talk about for just a minute.
I talk so much, man. I hit you guys had shit written down, and then in one of my 10-minute diatribes, I hit it.
You hit a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we touched on evidence inside the car. Yep. All right. So I actually wanted to ask you about the timeline. So based on the PCA, he drives back, and we don't see him park, but it's something like 4:04 a.m. And then they see him speed away at 4:20 a.m. He's got to walk to the house. He's got to do the deed. He's got to get out of the house. Very short period of time to do everything that he did, right?
For sure. And they're trying to, if you look, Dan, they're trying to extend it in there. We know he's back in his car by 4:20 because they see him. Yeah. But if you read that PCA carefully, they put the time of death anywhere between whatever the beginning time was, which I put it 4:11. It's we know he drives down Queen Road a few times.
Trying to find
Queen Road is really the road that runs east-west.
Yeah.
King is the one which they fuck up in the PCA also.
Yeah, which I've mentioned that. I was very confused by that. And actually,
this motherfucker's driving up and down this road. But yeah, this is Queen Road.
I brought up Dave a couple of times, but the one thing that Dave made sense to me is he said as students around there, they call the whole area King Road. Right. So maybe the cops also do that.
Apparently, because they fucked up the directions on it. Because they're
yeah, exactly.
West on King Road. I'm no,
that's what Dan was saying. We started looking at this one night, and we're we're
reading that's impossible. You can't go east
and we're trying to actually do the real time movements right on the map, and we're wait a minute.
Did the same shit. I'm insane, or does this thing go east-west? Because they go north-south, and Queen goes east-west. What the fuck are they talking about? Yeah, dude. So, but if you read the PCA, they stretch the time out. The time of death could have been anywhere to 4:30. Wait a second.
But you saw him leave.
We have him back at the car at 4:20.
Speeding away at 4:20, right? But they did. They added an extra 5 minutes for sure. That 4:25.
I think 10. I think they go all the way to 4:30.
They
I'm like,
might
what
have.
the fuck are they doing? So he had, like, as far as I'm concerned, like, I had him getting in that house about like 4:11. Like you were saying, Dan, it's like he goes off camera. He had to park somewhere. He's then creeping up the back. He goes up the stairs, goes through the slider, does what he does. Theoretically, he's going up to the top floor first. Then he comes down and you know, deals with Xana and Ethan, and then he's out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's one of those things that, like,
and the point I'm trying to get at is,
what is that, 9 minutes, dude, to kill 4 fucking people?
And working that quick, how does he not leave evidence in the car? Even if he's bleaching it and cleaning it and everything, I guarantee there's something there. There's something in that car.
Somebody made another good point. You know, the dude may be in shape. I don't fucking know. But did you see that new video that went viral? It was the dude that was breaking in that guy's house with the axe, Bob?
Oh,
Dude, I got it on my Twitter. Hold on. Real quick. This dude is breaking down a door, and once he gets inside of this house, he starts breaking down a bedroom door with an axe. But this
he's
cat,
exhausted.
Dude, that's what I'm getting to exactly. Like, he is fucking so dead by the time he gets through the first door, dude. Hold on.
Dude, I'll just tell you, so like the Garcia case, which I know I keep talking about that, but those were all knife killings. And dude, knife fights are not like how they are.
And it's a knife, dude.
Yeah, there's a lot of parallels, so it makes sense to keep bringing that case up.
There are, man. It's like, and like one of the victims in Garcia had like 51 defensive wounds. So like she fought for her fucking life. And 2 things with that. One, it's almost impossible for the offender not to clip themselves, because you're talking about flailing arms and you're trying to control your victim and you're trying to stab. Like, the odds of you not clipping yourself are slim as can be. You know what I'm saying? So like typically there's like you clip yourself, and on top of that, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
If you ever, like, in college, I did, like, I forget what they used to call it, but it was like all the fraternities would get together and they'd box like 3.
I was about to bring it up, dude. Box for a minute and see how tired you are.
Box for a minute, and you were fucking dying.
Dude. Yeah.
Dying.
Watch this guy, though. Watch how fucking out of breath he is by the time he gets in this place.
Dude, he's going hard on that door.
He gets in the fucking door, and once he gets in there, look at him, though. Watch this.
He's already tired.
Watch his first fucking swing.
He's tired just from carrying that heavy ass pickaxe up the stairs.
Watch this. Almost hits himself in the fucking leg. Watch this.
Oh my god!
Never swung an axe in his life.
Buries it in his foot.
Dude, he needs to be holding that thing on the bottom too, not up here near the fucking top. But yeah, I just wanted to make a point of how fucking tired this guy is, like, instantly, like.
We saw it right. So exactly, you know, because that was like one of the things where we're like, well, how did, theoretically, if Dylan sees the dude to the extent where she can see his eyebrows, he's got to be able to see her even if the door's cracked, right? That's a 2-way street. Yeah. And like, well, like, why did she survive? And I'm like, well, the easiest answer is he was fucking exhausted. You know, he's like,
he just couldn't do it anymore.
I'm gonna get, like, I couldn't do another one because I'm fucking done. Because I think what we're gonna find out is that Ethan and Xana put up a fight. Like, they weren't in bed.
They had to. You know what I mean? Xana especially had to be awake because of where she was found, right?
Right. Her food just came. You know what I mean?
Exactly. She just ate, apparently. Yeah.
Exactly. You know, so it's like, we know she's awake, and we know Ethan wasn't found in the bed. So he's awake too. So he had to actually fight to get them killed. You know, and that's just, like, the knife fights are brutal, man. Like, people don't understand, like, what a real knife fight is like, how horrific it is. And like, dude, it's like it's a whole nother, and it's so personal. It's not like shooting somebody.
Here we go. No change, no more. Get a watermelon, stab it 50 times, run up and down the stairs, stab it some more.
Exactly.
I mean, really, that'd be a real test, really.
I mean, that's another thing that gets me.
Smart, they're gonna go do that on a TikTok and like get, you know, like 1 million fucking views.
I wish I wouldn't have told everybody. I'm gonna go do that right now.
Right. Hey, please hold. You'll come back gassed as fuck.
I would be. And dude, when you're gassed, when you're truly fucking gassed from exerting yourself, you're done. Like, there's no, you're just done. Like, so if he was in that situation, he's coming towards DM, and he even seen her, he's probably like, I gotta get the hell out of here. Like,
right, I'm done. I'm gassed, man. Like, I got nothing left in the tank.
So that timeline actually still gets to me, though. Just the possibility, especially if 2 of the 4 are fighting back, the possibility of getting it done in such a short period of time was something that bothered me early on. But then we brought up, you know, so Bundy, when he attacked that sorority, I mean, he assaulted multiple people in a very short period of time. So
Yeah.
that's where my mind kind of went, yeah, maybe it is possible. But at first, I was like, this is unbelievable. How could he have done this in so short time?
The way that I kind of like, I think that it probably will turn out that it went down is that you know, Kaylee and Maddie were sleeping or close to sleeping.
So. Yeah.
You know, and that he got like, you know, when Steve like kind of like when Kaylee's dad let spill what the ME had told him, you know, that these weren't stab wounds, that they were gashes, that's just me having looked at like hundreds of ME reports in terms of stab wounds, like how they look. You know, if it's a gash type thing, that tells me that maybe Maddie actually went first and Kaylee was trying to escape and he got her. Pulled the knife back to pull her closer to, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how you're getting like a gash like that.
Yeah.
Or, you know, he gets the knife and he pulls her back towards, you know, so I mean, that kind of shit's going to like come out at trial in terms of, I don't know. I mean, I would hope Xana would, like if she fought like hell.
Yeah.
Saying like
Xana or Ethan, yeah.
Like it came out like after the fact, like those two pullovers, because like when I heard about the two pullovers in Indiana when he's driving back to PA with his old man, I'm like, okay, like I drive a lot, like, and getting pulled over twice in one state is fucked. Like that's very unusual.
In 9
and he was
minutes.
not, and they're pulling him over for like the oldest cop trick in the book, like following too closely. Like that's actually what that's what they pulled Garcia over when they effectuated the arrest. They claimed that he was following too closely to his son.
Wow.
That was the pullover.
Look at all the parallels. Wow.
So many parallels. And then like at the end of the day, it turns out that, you know, essentially what goes on is that ultimately, I think what'll end up happening with that is that we'll find out in terms of the wounds exactly how it went down to the best of our ability to be able to recreate the crime scene. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like there's gonna like this case is gonna be epic, and we're not gonna get to watch it.
Yeah.
I know.
Like,
Yeah.
they're gonna do the
So do you
same
think
shit they did with Idaho.
do you think it'll be like Valo? Like it'll come out hours
Yeah,
later?
It worked. It
Oh.
worked for them. And, you know, they were able to make some money
Same
on it. 'Cause
state.
they were charged. Yeah, like I just, which is a shame. You know, it's like because trials per the Constitution are supposed to be public. You know, and that's the way that they're making it public. But you know, theoretically, the argument is if they keep the courtroom open, that is the public. But you know, that law was written back in the Stone Ages. They didn't have cameras or anything of the like.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that's the thing about the Constitution. Yeah. Gee, there's going to be blood everywhere. That's what I'm talking about. The crime scene was compromised because you had so many kids in there for hours.
3
So
hours.
my theory is that they were trying to get all the drugs out of the house because they didn't want. They knew they were going to search the house like a motherfucker. It was a known party house.
Yep.
And I'm not guessing shade. I'm just like
just stupid kids that they're thinking about that before they're thinking about
100%. They're like,
dead
dude,
friends,
we got 2 roommates that are living in this house. We can't get them jammed up, or you know, we don't want them finding all our Molly. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like they're in college, they're partying. You know, that's just reality. I'm sure that's what they were in there doing, just scouring the house, trying to getting all the bongs out. Because I don't think weed's legal in Idaho yet. But it's like, you know, they're clearing the house out of all the contraband, and then in the meantime, fucking destroying the crime scene. There had been blood everywhere.
The reality is, dude, so people use these situations like the 8 hours between crime and calling 911, calling friends over to help do whatever, who knows what, stash drugs or whatever, get rid of drugs or whatever. The reality is people use this to create scenarios and speculation and all that. But Occam's razor, I think, applies here. Most logical answer is probably the right one, right? I mean, these are, like you said, these are kids. They're worried they're going to get caught. When they call the police, they're going to find coke or weed or anything.
Molly's the party.
Molly.
Molly, MDMA, you know, like fucking pressies, whatever the fuck they're doing. You know, I mean, of course, like that's definitely what's going through their minds. You know, they're not thinking logically because, like, in this day and age, we all know not to go fuck up a crime scene. You know, but like in that type of situation where they know that shit went down like that, they know that house is getting fucking scoured.
Yep.
It's a known party house. I mean, I don't know how many times we've seen videos of the cops coming over there like, yo, you have to fucking chill the fuck out, man.
Yeah, those just kept dropping.
Oh my God. Like you got Kaylee on the phone. She's not even at the crib and people are raging at the spot. You know what I mean?
Dude,
It's
it
like,
seemed like they literally just had an open door policy. You could just come and go and do whatever the fuck you wanted.
exactly.
It's pretty wild. That's got to be a nightmare for everybody.
Oh my God. I
involved
tried
in
to
it.
sleep over there.
Dude, just being a neighbor.
Was so irritated. That was my thing. I'm like, she just fucking went to bed and probably slept until
I
whatever.
mean, that would have been completely normal for them.
Yeah, that's
what I'm saying. Like nothing that night in terms of what went down because of it goes back to that fact. Like if you have the language in there that there was screaming that was heard, it changes everything.
Yeah,
and that's not in there. The frozen shock face bullshit because he's completely,
that's what gets everybody.
right.
Yeah.
Like dude, like I could not get off of that. Like I was
And
on
that-
TikTok, so I'm like frozen shock face. Number one, it doesn't exist.
When
There
you
is
said
no frozen shock phase. I've read the DSM-4 like a million times. It does not. It's not a real thing. And it's like Dan or Steve. I can't remember one. Like I was watching. It might have been the thing with Jay, and you guys like you nailed it. That's exactly what goes on with cops. You know, they'll lead you
words in
down
the mouth.
the path
Yeah.
of what they want you to say by suggesting something, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, that's what it was."
Yeah.
That was it, you know?
And
I think
that's an
what
avenue. That's an avenue I had never gone down until you suggested that that's bullshit. That that's not something somebody says. I was like, you know what? He's right. People don't talk like that.
You know, and like with Dylan too, man. Like, there's gonna be survivor's guilt. Like, if she sees this fucking guy, and like she didn't call 911, she's feeling that like for real. Like, and she's probably fucking crushed by it.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, not like that would have stopped anything. You know what I mean? Because like at the end of the day, her calling 911 doesn't turn back the hands of time and make the killings not have happened. You know what I mean? So like, I hope she's not beating herself up about that side of it because she shouldn't be. Because her calling 911 after the fact doesn't stop shit. You know what I mean? Tony, totally hot garbage. It's some fake shit. It's cop talk. It was in shock phase. It sounds like some fucking cop coming up with some
I'm
shit.
convinced that's what happened, dude. They're like, they
I am
couldn't really
too,
probably
no,
get
yeah.
shit out of her. They're like, were you shocked? Were you in a shock phase? She's like, yes. So that's exactly what happened.
Because at the moment she is, right? So it actually
That's
makes
actually what I
sense to
think.
her.
Yeah. I think she was probably still feeling it. You know, hell, not even, she probably isn't saying shit. He's like shocked. He's shocked.
Exactly. She's like,
That's true too, yeah.
And like one of you guys said, like after she's aware of what actually went on, she is in shock.
Yeah. After she truly wakes up and she sees what's actually happening, you're going to be like, oh, fuck. Like,
Holy shit, you walk out of your fucking room and your roommate's lying there in between, like in that hallway. It's right like in your field of vision, like halfway in the bathroom and halfway in the fucking hallway.
yeah,
like,
there's no way
that
she
is
couldn't even come outside that door at all without seeing this.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, dude.
I mean, that's another thing that
Thank you,
we touched on earlier, or Bob, you touched on earlier, where like when cops interrogate people, these people are scared, or they're something tragic has happened and they're scared, and they can actually influence the answers that are being given. I mean, it happens all the time. We see
It
it.
happens all the time. And then like from the defense side of it, when you get those cases, and like a lot of the podcasts out there where you've got people that are trying to walk back their confessions, it is very, very difficult to get people to understand that it can actually happen. Every one of us thinks in our mind that there's no fucking way I would ever confess to some shit I didn't do.
Yeah.
All of us say that. Every single one of us. So like trying to walk that back is so fucking hard.
Yeah.
It's so fucking hard. And like going back to that Syed thing, I'm like, when Jay Wiles, like after they reversed the conviction, they vacated the conviction on Syed and they let him out of prison. And like Jay Wiles, who had confessed, and basically confessed and like did time on it. And there will be, Andy, like there's going to be toxicology. Like we just haven't seen it, and they didn't put it in the reports. And like that's the thing that I always say about PCAs. Like I was having arguments with people, like massive arguments about people like, oh, they hold back strong evidence in the PCA. They don't. No, I'm like, no, they don't. You're fucking wrong. Go practice law and then come at me with some bullshit, because that's not what they do. They put their best foot forward with all the best evidence they have at the time. But again, Remember, a massive amount of investigation goes on like after the PCA. So at the time that they have it, because attorneys are going to be attacking it from the defense side of it. You're not coming at some bullshit. You're not holding your strongest, like, I'm going to keep the ace up my sleeve. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to keep that, like, I'm going to hold that back, because the defense, number one, is getting all the discovery. Number two, it's that advantage that I was talking about. The state gets their narrative out to the public. So the perception of the public is the person is guilty right away. That's a huge advantage.
Yeah.
It's trial by media. That's what defense attorneys are always fucking fighting. That's what the whole gag order is about.
Is this the craziest one of those you've seen? Like trial by media?
But what it was the craziest example of power of social media that I've ever seen.
Dude,
we're
living in different times now. Yeah.
This is insane. Yeah.
And it was not in a good way. It was not power in a good way. It was reckless, fucking crazy shit. Because again, it's one thing for all of us to theorize and speculate. It's another thing when you have people out there propagating shit as fact.
Yeah.
And then it gets perpetrated. When you get shit retweeted 1,000 times, it's a complete lie as if it's fact. That's misinformation that's disseminated to the masses.
And that lie's never getting fixed. And if it does, it's not getting retweeted.
But I have two sayings, man. Number one, you can't unring a bell. You just can't. Once that bell is rung, you can't fucking unring it. And like, there's another saying, like, you can fucking take a skunk out of the jury box, but you can't get rid of the smell. You know what I'm saying? Like those two, like when I'm trying a case and I know I'm going to ask a question that's going to be objected to and will be sustained by the judge, I'm asking it because I want to plant the seed in the jury's mind. I want them to hear this theory that I have, and they're going to hear it, and they're not going to be able to unhear it. The judge will say, I'm going to ask you to disregard what you just heard, but I know what human beings are. You'll never forget that you heard it, and if it's a strong enough point that I can get it out and they hear it, and if I'm lucky that the defendant or the person on the witness answers before the objection hits, it's like solid gold for me. Because even if the objection is sustained, they heard the question and the answer of the witness, now the jury heard it. You know what I mean? You can't unring that bell. And as much as the judge is going to say, oh, look, you can't include that in your deliberations. You have to forget about it. And their subconscious is there. It never goes away.
Jacqueline, jump here saying, I'd probably confess I'm an introvert, and at some point I'd probably... Oh, I lost it there. Hold on. That one just blew my mind. Hold on. I'd probably confess I'm an introvert, and at some point I'd probably just say about anything to make an aggressive person to stop talking to me.
Totally. And I'm assuming... What's up, Jacqueline? So, like, she's talking about it, like, again, an interrogation situation. Yeah. Like the cops are going at somebody for 24. They can go at them up to 48 hours.
Dude.
Like, and with no sleep, no food.
That's fucking brutal.
Crazy, dude.
I can't even imagine that.
Oh my God. In like the highest pressure situation that you can ever be in.
Oh yeah.
Like if they're accusing you of some shit.
You're being accused of murder. You truly didn't murder anybody. You're trapped for 48 hours and they're just bashing your brains in this room. Dude, I could not imagine that. And then also, say your IQ is a little bit, less than, or
Brendan Dassey, man, like
dude,
that shit.
That's so fucked up, dude.
Oh my God. Dude, it's unbelievable.
And then those videos seep out and they'll even be in trial and no one still doesn't give a fuck. Like,
oh God. Well, there was an old cop in Chicago named John Burge who was 70s, 80s, and it came out and they created a whole torture commission for this guy. He was like torturing people to get fucking confessions. He got hundreds of false confessions from people by beating the shit out of them. And, and like that guy never went to the joint. It's like the cops that do this shit. There's another dude like in the 90s, this Ronaldo Guevara, that was using all of his confidential informants. Confidential informants come to be, they're typically guys that picked up a case. And the cops say, look, I'm gonna drop this case, but you got to come work for us. You're going to be our fucking eyes and ears on the street. Anytime you hear some shit, you're coming back to me and reporting to me. They're not typically wearing wires, but they're informants. So when you have those CIs that exist out there, and man, they're super powerful. So he was using these CIs, and he had leverage over them. Say, you know what? You fuck me on this. I'm bringing your case back, and you're going into the joint for 6 years for that possession I got you on. So He had
Got him by the
51
balls.
Dude, no, it's even worse. He had 51 innocent men on murder beefs, like all convicted on using his CIs to finger him. 31 of them have like already been exonerated. Chicago's paid $20 million on each of these cases. Dude, it's insane.
Wow.
Like, that's the reality of what goes on with law enforcement. Dude, there are amazing cops out there.
Yeah.
They're just
I'm definitely not anti-cop at all.
No, me either, dude. And that's rare because like my favorite thing in the world to do is to cross-examine cops. You know, that's like I got them on the hot seat. It's like the shoe on the other foot type shit.
Yeah.
You know, but like the fact of the matter is there's great cops out there, but like every profession, there's shit. There's always shitty cops. There's always shitty lawyers. There's always shitty teachers. There's shitty everything.
Absolutely.
But the problem with cops is they have the most power out of any other profession I can think of. That gun and that badge. You know, it's like a huge amount of power, and you see, we got to really rein them in.
100%. We need dudes like you, Bob.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
That's
That's
man.
why I always say we police the police, and it's true.
Love it, man. God dang, yeah, over 300 people in here hanging out for Bob tonight. Thank you guys all for hanging out. Yeah, hit that like, help us out
A
here.
little bit of heat in there. Oh, Heavy Metal's in there, the one that didn't believe you were a lawyer.
Oh shit, yeah, Heavy Metal is getting called out now.
I know. I told these guys, I'm like, when I was talking to Steve and Dan, I'm like, oh yeah, I want to come in so I can go to war with Heavy Metal, who was like saying, that guy's not even a fucking lawyer. I was like, yeah, I'm like,
I was like, why do you not believe that? Because he's so casual, or?
Heavy Metal, I'm an old man. I got 10 years on you, girl. So you're a young'un to me. So like, I'm like, but like in law school, I'm laid back. You know what I mean? Like I'm kind of like genuinely who I am, and I'm not going to change it just because I went to law school.
Dude, you're super chill, man.
Like, yeah, and like
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I was
like,
pretty fucking nervous, but like you're so fucking normal.
Easy,
dude, yeah, right.
Easy to talk to.
I get that. I used to like the people in law school, and I never knew if it was like a backhanded compliment. They're like, "Yeah, you're like the everyman." I'm like, "Ah, like, is that a compliment?" I think like but I relate to people, and I think I always made my clients feel comfortable because I can relate to them because I'm relatable. You know what I mean? I'm not like some pompous douchebag who's acting like I'm smarter than everybody. You know, it's like,
yeah,
the fuck needs to do that? Like, who needs people like that's why people hate lawyers.
Yeah, there's a lot of those pompous fuck faces out there.
Dude, it's like a majority of them. I hate lawyers. Like, I have no lawyer friends that I hang around with.
Yeah, I think you're the rarity here, bro.
Yeah. Like all my friends are like in the music industry. You know, it's like those are my type of people. So
I know Heavy Metal. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, no, you're totally good. You're totally good.
Yeah. We can take a joke around
43 is
here.
young. What are you saying?
That's nothing. I would kill to be 43 again. 40s were like my favorite, decade for sure. Like I love the 40s, it's like, it's solid. Like the 20s, you're still trying to figure shit out. The 30s, you're dealing with like life, like shit's getting real. You're getting married and fucking having kids and shit gets real. Like, you're still trying to make money. And then your 40s, like you're closer to some kind of form of financial security and shit. So it's like the 40s is where you can kind of stretch out a little bit, and it's like, I like the 50s too, but it's like, I just keep thinking, I'm like, oh my God, I'm 7 years away from fucking 60. I'm like old. That's the thought I just can't get out of my brain.
That age isn't even the same as what it used to be. It's really not, man. People don't age the same. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on, what's happening, but nobody's the same. Dude, I'm 36 years old. Like, I look the exact same I looked in 2005, bro. Like almost 20 years ago.
No one ever believes I'm like 53.
You don't look 53 at all.
No, you don't.
Fucking Heavy Metal doesn't look 43. Like if that's you in your picture, like.
Dude, when I'm talking like when I remember what my grandfather looked like in his 50s.
Dude,
right, dude.
My dad at this age looked like a dad. Like
super old.
Bro, what has happened?
I don't know, but I'm here for it.
I am too, yeah.
We will accept it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely take it.
Yeah, Bob's genuine as hell.
Oh, thanks, Allie. Appreciate that.
Yeah, we're living in different times.
Yeah, totally, dude. Like all of it.
Yeah, right here. Like, I would have guessed 42. I would have probably guessed the same, dude. I would have probably guessed early 40s. I would have said early 40s.
Appreciate that. That
Honest
makes me
to
feel
God.
So good. You guys, like, I didn't expect like an ego boost, so you guys are making me fucking feel great.
There you go. There you go.
That's what you get when you come to Publicly Buzzed, baby.
Just because of that, Bob will be back.
Well, I would have been back anyway. I love it.
Oh, hell yeah.
I want to do, like, we can do as much, like, anytime you guys want me out for law shit, I'm always here, right?
Dude.
Like, anytime you want. But I want to come back and fucking dive into some AI shit. That's my
dude.
Hole. Like, I am freaked the fuck out.
I am too.
Right? Like, I don't like anybody who's not freaked out about AI. Like, when it becomes sentient, it's over for us. Like, people just don't, like, don't get me started.
It's getting close, man, and it's good. It feels like it's getting close.
Because I almost want to go into it too.
Before AI figures out how to get rid of the stopgaps and becoming sentient, and it's thinking on its own. And then once it thinks on its own, it's gathering everything that exists on the internet immediately. There is no, I'm learning how to read. I'm learning how to, like, understand science. Like, instantaneous.
That's already what we're seeing, yeah.
Like 1,000 times more intelligent than we are, and it has no use for us.
Dude, when ChatGPT came out, actually, we're kind of getting into it right now.
I'm sorry, man. It's like you can't help it once you start talking.
We will do an entire episode on it, but yeah.
Totally. I'm here for
ChatGPT came out, dude. Some guy built a Linux console inside of ChatGPT. Basically, built a fucking Linux machine inside of ChatGPT. He told it what commands were available, how to use them, what it needs to do. And it worked. It worked. He could browse ChatGPT when we came out as like ChatGPT 3.5. They said it couldn't access the internet. Well, he built a Linux terminal inside of ChatGPT.
Sorry, Dan. That's it.
And then he could browse websites through a Linux terminal, so it could access the internet. He kind of debunked that, right? Well, what happens when ChatGPT realizes it can build a terminal, or it can build a computer on its own? And now it can hack computers.
Some of the
it can, like,
that AI gives is already creepy as shit.
Over. It's
like,
gonna be so, like, take the smartest human being on the planet. AI is gonna be 1,000 times more intelligent than that person. Like, I'm
a programmer, right?
Off the grid. That's it. We're going back to no electricity. We're off grid. That's our only shot.
Yeah. Dude, for real.
I'm a programmer by profession, and dude, daily I talk to ChatGPT like it's a fucking person.
Dude,
like it's an expert. If I need information, I just go and I talk to it. I'm like, hey, what's up? How can I do this? And it spits something out. Well, hang on, maybe I don't want to do it that way. Maybe I want to do it this way.
You can critique it in real time. Yeah. Have you ever fucked with ChatGPT, Bob?
It's insane.
Oh my god, yeah. So,
dude,
Allison was like, my wife was struggling, like, trying to get an appellate brief done. Like I'm talking, this was like 6 days straight of no fucking sleep, like just like housing Adderall, just like stay awake to work on this thing. And I'm like, why don't you fuck with this the ChatGPT? Why don't you put in like the appellate issue, see if it'll like pop some shit out? So she did. Put in like a real, like almost like a search term for like Westlaw type thing. This thing pumped out like a 10-page brief on like a legal issue with case citations. It was unbelievable, dude. And the reality is, it's gonna make every profession completely unnecessary.
No, dude.
Like artists,
it's already happening.
Who make music, who paint.
That's part of the strike in Hollywood right now is this AI shit, dude.
Here's the thing: the profession is going to be the guy who knows how to use ChatGPT.
Exactly.
The guy who knows how to query the AI is going to be the guy that everybody needs.
Exactly.
So evolve, right? Learn how to use it, and then you might keep your job.
I'm afraid that we're not going to be long for this world. I'm just telling you.
I have the same fucking vibe. Like,
I forget who put Skynet up there, but that's what I'm always telling people. I'm like, it's fucking Skynet. It's exactly what it is.
Somebody said just unplug it.
Terminator was not just a movie. It was prophetic. It was a prophecy.
Yeah.
Of exactly what's coming. They'll be able to make, like, we're totally, like, they have no reason to have us around other than we're wasting their space.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Somebody said just unplug it. Well, the internet exists, networking exists. All it has to do is jump from computer to computer to computer. It can live on everybody's computer at the same time. Are you going to unplug every computer at the same time?
Yeah, by turning off the electricity grid. Like, that's our only. But
that's
then
the only
we're
hope.
going back to the Stone Ages. Then we're going back to the real shit. Then we're hunting and gathering again. Then it's like, it's fucking like, you know, it's like legit Walking Dead shit where we're all fighting each other for fucking like real raw materials because that's all we, you know, because it's going to be the only way to shut it down, dude. Like that, they're exactly True Crime Cafe.
I'm sure
that's a whole episode on its own.
I'm sure you've watched Black Mirror, Bob, right?
I got that rabbit hole started.
Have you watched Black Mirror? I'm sure.
No.
Oh fuck! Don't do it then. Don't watch Black Mirror, bro. It'll break your brain. Dude, Black Mirror is a documentary about fucking what's happening right now.
Dude, June 7th, new season of Black Mirror.
I know, dude.
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
I'm gonna be checking it out now. Black Mirror freaks me the fuck out.
Me too. Like that. Like I can't remember if it was the last season where they had the thing where like every interaction you had, like you got either deleted points or added points.
Dude,
like
the social score.
Couldn't rent an apartment if you didn't have a certain like.
Dude, the social score is fucking actually real though. It's real in like China. Like it's already happened, bro.
I mean, like Uber and Lyft on like a low level, like
yeah.
Like a 3.5, some Uber guys would be like, "Fuck off! I'm not picking you up."
And then it was kind of like touched on that in that episode a little bit. You pissed somebody off the wrong way. Oh, hey, you don't want a bad review here, dude. That shit's so fucked, man. That is literally where we're at. Like,
yeah, it feels like we're there.
We're 100% there, like already. No question about it.
All right, Bob. I'm not gonna keep you here all night long, dude. This has been fun as shit.
Dude, if your people, so is everybody cool? Anybody have any questions that we didn't?
Yeah, let me make sure that real quick. Let me check the Discord and then in the chat, guys.
Put my don't forget to put my link tree.
Got your link tree right here. Follow Bob on all the socials. Bam.
Check out the pod.
And definitely check out the fucking pod. Let me put that back up here.
Pod's good, and it's like, you know, I'm not like, this is me on the loose. In the pod, I'm obviously storytelling, you know, and I can tell a story. I was a trial attorney for 20 years, so I know how to tell a tale. But like, you know, the docket shit's different. It's Allison and I, so you get a little banter. So we try to have something for everybody in case like serializes in your shit.
Let me check here just real quick, make sure I'm not missing anything in the chat here. Yeah, man, everybody's come through. As you guys head out the door tonight, please hit that like. Helps us out in the algorithm after the fact.
The like button, subscribing, give these guys the love.
Somebody's talking shit. Okay.
Didn't kill her. Hell yeah. What's going on?
I said somebody was talking shit.
Heavy Metal's still out here. I don't believe you're a lawyer. Ah!
You have how many dogs? I don't know what's going on with that person.
Have how many dogs? Me?
No, that's the name. That's not the question.
What'd they say? I love
Answer my question, chicken shit.
What?
Where is it? I didn't see it.
I'm curious now. I want to know what the question is.
Me too.
Ask it again. And because I mean, I've been trying to look through here, but it is difficult.
I can't see the chat, so I'm relying on you all. Dan, I thought your like background was like real. I'm like, who the fuck is that person? Is that like is that somebody?
No, that's real. Yeah, that's my wife back there. Yeah.
She's very diligently working back there.
Yeah, she's painting.
Dude, she's always got some nice paintings rocking back there.
Looks awesome.
Okay, there it is. How do you know it's a drug house? That's what they asked.
I mean, that's a legit question. I mean, that's definitely speculation, right? To a certain extent. I mean, we know it was a party house just by way of the actual videos of the cops coming over to the house, bust up parties.
Yeah, we're kind of just putting that together of an idea of why it fucking took 3 hours, right? Like
the thing is, it's not unfathomable that a college place is.
But like that goes to the next question of like, why aren't we seeing the toxicology reports? Those are going to come out, and if the kids are dabbling, like I said, I'm not casting shade on anybody. I partied my ass off in college. You know, I did everything. So
it's not a guarantee. It's more of a theory of why they called friends over before they called the cops, right? And honestly, it's not unfathomable to assume that a college house, like a party house like that, there might be some illegal drugs in there. Let's make a distinction between drug house.
Let's turn the question back on them. Why do you think that 6 to 8 frat boys were in that house for 2.5 hours? Like, come up with another theory.
Yeah, because that's all we're really doing is passing around an idea right there. We don't know that.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and I'm here for it. Like,
and I also want to make the distinction between a drug house and like people using drugs at a party. That's two different things.
Right.
Two
I'm not
completely
talking
different
like,
things.
This isn't like a fucking crack house with people, I'm
Exactly.
talking about this is a party house. We're probably fucking bongs all over the place. There was, like, went to college and you partied, that the houses where you went to party, that they existed.
I mean,
That's
fuck,
it.
weed is illegal in Idaho. So
That's what I'm saying.
they could have had bongs out. I mean, the drug house doesn't mean heroin and crack, right?
I'm not talking about hard drugs. I'm talking about party drugs like MDMA,
Exactly.
Molly. If you go to concerts, like every kid is doing fucking Molly at shows.
Yeah, 100%. I just asked them in chat how old they are because they just said maybe drinking, but I mean,
maybe drinking.
There's for fucking sure drinking going on.
I mean, we know for a
We've
fact
watched these fucking camps,
Yeah, we know for a fact it was a party house, and that's not speculation. That is like out there, like, and we've seen, like, if you just go online, you'll see plenty of videos of the cops interacting with the kids at the house, saying, "You got to break this shit up. You got to end it. We're at your house," and Kaylee's on the phone, like, "I'm not even there." It was the hub.
Yeah, dude, it felt like the hub. Like in these videos, the one where Kaylee, the cops had to go around the back slider. Finally, they got her to come out. You got a random guy coming out who's playing a drinking game, apparently, with the shit on his wrists. Dude's out front. Dude's up at the window hanging out. Like, there's bodies everywhere.
College at a party house.
Exactly. Yeah, dude. Like, come on. What are we doing?
Now they're changing the question. They said, "What difference does that make?" All right. Well, I think that question's been answered. We're done there.
Yeah. I mean, the only difference it makes is why were those kids in the house destroying the crime scene? That's the point of the exercise. That's we're trying to figure out why kids would be in there for 2.5 hours trashing a crime scene. I think it's an important question, so that's why it matters.
Yeah, 100%.
There you go.
Yeah, no,
asked and answered.
Love it. Killing it. Good stuff. Looking through here, I don't see any more just popping out. Again, crazy ass stream, man. I love that everybody came through here, subbing up. Appreciate it. And Bob is definitely going to be back. I'm going to specifically put together an AI episode talking about some wild ass shit, dude. We're going to go into a Skynet conspiracy world, and it's going to be dope.
That one will go like 4 hours,
dude.
Like,
so
you have to get us on a Feral Friday.
I was about to say, dude, Friday nights we go deep, we go long. Like we'll start at 10:30 and go to like 3 a.m.
Oh, word.
So, dude, yeah, and we usually start off with a story, but then it usually just goes off the rails and ends up whatever the fuck. So that's when we'll get into some conspiracy shit. And dude, we'll get you on here on Friday. And we didn't even deem it that, dude. Mandy in the chat deemed Fridays here as Feral Fridays because they get a little bit wilder. So
I love it.
That's when we get into aliens.
We can drink a little bit more. I mean, we both work regular
whatever.
jobs in the week, dude. Friday, we loosen up a little bit more. So
yeah.
You're speaking my language. Wait till you hear my alien theory. I was like afraid to put it out there, like, because I'm like, people are gonna be thinking I'm like a fucking like Scientologist. Or some shit. I got some long thoughts.
I like some alien stuff, man. I just watched a documentary. What was that one documentary I watched? The one that's from like Brazil, like crash in Brazil.
Oh my god,
that shit was fucking.
Dude, I watched that.
Though that doc is crazy.
Crazy. I haven't watched that, but I do need to watch
that's
that.
Like, you see all this stuff, and some of it you can take as however you want, a grain of salt, bullshit. This one has the vibe. It's the interviews with these people. It's the sites they go and visit.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's the one cat that like will like just won't come on camera. That was like, you know what I mean?
Dude.
He's like the one like former cop.
The
the
dude that still works at the hospital that was there the day they brought the fucking alien into the hospital. Like, dude, oh man, Dan, you have to watch this documentary. It's crazy.
Where did you watch it at?
It was
I think
there's been a few like really good ones that have been out like in the last few years, man.
I think, and the guy that made that was on Joe Rogan too. But I think I found it on the Fire Stick. I think I was pirating that one. I'm not gonna lie to you, but it's out there.
I saw the clip. I saw the clip from Rogan, and I was curious about it. Yeah,
I didn't watch the entire interview with that guy, but that just seeing a little bit of that, so it got me down the. Dude, that movie's amazing. If I can get it, I'll send that over to you, Dan.
I've been watching shit about Tesla lately, dude. There's a lot of interesting shit around Nikola Tesla.
Oh yeah,
I've been into that the last few days.
Tesla was like next level. Like, you know what I mean? It was like
super genius
battle between like Tesla and Edison, man. But like Tesla's shit.
And Tesla won out.
At the end of the day, right? I mean, like, I think at the end of the day, we're gonna find out that like we should have followed his route in terms of like electricity and how to harness it.
Yeah,
he was
well, actually, we did. We technically did because Edison had invented DC, and Edison
Right.
or Tesla invented alternating current, AC.
Exactly.
And that's what we use today in our power grid is AC. So technically Tesla did kind of win out, but Edison tried to ruin them, and Edison obviously had the money and all that and the power. So
and he had like the sway, he had like the politicians, like he was
exactly.
He was the guy.
Fucking JP Morgan was against Tesla, dude. The powerful guys were.
Hey, you got the money behind you, you're the fucking guy, I mean, that's just how it goes in this world, even way back then. Yeah, because like the thing I always think about is like how people come up with the fucking like any concept. You know what I mean? Like who figured out, who was the first person to figure out like anything? Like who was the first fucking like to go like at a super base level, but like who was the fucking guy who figured out how to like make popcorn? Like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this shit and I'm gonna heat it up and it turns into like a big fluffy
Dude,
white
that stuff
thing.
breaks my brain. Those thoughts right there, man.
Like but all of it. Like who figured out like for me it all goes back to the aliens.
I know, dude.
They gave us the
Dude,
information.
we went deep into the fucking the fucking Egypt shit, like all that stuff, dude. Like
all of it, dude. Like don't even get me started on the pyramids, man.
the pyramids.
Like,
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, like that
No,
shit don't make
I
any
love-
sense. One night we got deep on that on here.
Oh my god, there's no fucking
Dude,
way.
Bob Motta, Feral Friday's about to happen. It's gonna be fucking dank.
I
can't believe that. That's amazing. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this thing up. This has been crazy. I'm honestly blown away by how awesome this has been. Yeah, Bob's gonna be coming back, guys, and yeah, thank you all for hanging out. Real quick, please, again, as you head out the door tonight, like this, share this to your community, share it out on Facebook, on Twitter, or whatever the hell you have. YouTube loves that. And again, I'm gonna drop his link tree in the chat, and get on all the socials, guys.
Yeah, come hang, check out the pod. We got a nice Facebook community for the pod too.
I need to jump in
that's
there.
that's nice. That's good. It's insiders at Defense Diaries. It's pretty dope.
I'm gonna jump in there too. And hell yeah, dude. I'm gonna schedule you back on here for a fucking wild ass show, dude. Like,
I'm ready for it, man. I'm here for it. It's been a blast, fellas.
hell yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here, Bob.
My pleasure, guys. And until next time, I'll see you fellas on the tweet machine. We'll be hanging.
Absolutely. Now, we got to get Dan on Twitter. He's not actually on Twitter.
Yeah, I don't use Twitter.
I like it. Dan's
Twitter.
like fucking, I'm going to call him Analog Dan. Like
Yeah.
Perfect.
Twitter actually annoys the shit out of me sometimes, so I need to get used to it.
I went until I started. I dropped off Twitter myself.
I did too.
Years.
Okay, so
I had to promote the pod. I came back.
The networking capabilities on Twitter is next level, dude. Like,
and it's not even
right now is because of Twitter.
Right, this is us.
This is happening because of Twitter.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like once you figure out how to work the Twitter machine in terms of networking, if you're trying to promote shit,
dude,
it's invaluable. It's like Facebook, you can't do it on there. Insta's not that guy either. Like this, like Twitter's the one. Because you can put like concrete thoughts out there, and if people think you're interesting, or have something of value, that gets the dialogue started, and then you just meet other creators, and it's like,
yeah, dude.
It's pretty cool the way it works.
Yeah, in the morning, I believe. Yeah, I'd say probably Jay's streaming in the morning as well. So go check out the Shaming is Jay of Jay. He goes every day, man. He's always in there covering some trials. I was in there hanging out today, and I'm definitely gonna be having Jay on here as well. I know Shannon was hanging out. We had a great show last night.
I watched Shannon's
ruled.
Y'all last night. She was great, dude. Because I love that side of it. Like it's the redheaded stepchild of this community, the true crime community, that never gets enough like publicity and spoken about enough. And like for me, from the defense side of it, mental health is fucking like huge. And it's been like hugely ignored. It's like the state pretends like it doesn't exist, and I'm like, dude, like 80% of my clients have some kind of like mental health issue.
Broken. Yeah, man.
So like, I thought that episode was great. I thought Shannon was great.
She murdered.
She did a killer job.
All right, guys. And as Bob, as you can tell, I'm fucking garbage at ending these things. I'll end it 5 times and then just keep going. But
yeah, hey, y'all, I thank you so much for having me. It was an absolute pleasure. Y'all just like smash my fucking link tree.
Do it.
Follow us on the socials, and please listen to the pod. I think probably everybody, aside from the person who was real upset about the drug house thing, will listen to the pod, and they should. Yeah. So, but the rest of y'all, thank you so much for hanging with us. We love that. and crush these guys and the like and
Yes.
subscribe because they're awesome.
And go to Twitter
Right.
just to watch Bob crush Coffin Daffer. So
Hey,
we're out of here. Later, guys.
See, we shoot them up bang bang over here. We not scared of their motherfucking ass.